am Deadpool! Whoa! Hello, universes. Welcome to my booktube channel, Savvy Reads Books and Things. I am Savvy. Today I have my top 12 books that I would like to read in 2019. Yes, it's 12, one for every month, and one for basically every genre-ish. The first category, graphic novel, I have Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This is a very well-loved graphic novel series. It has made its round on BookTube, it has made its round everywhere, and I first heard about it, picked up pretty much all the volumes that were out. I now have 8 volumes and I have not read a single one. I need to read the series. From what I can tell, and I did read the first page when I first bought it, I would absolutely love this. So for a classic, I chose Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I haven't actually read a Jane Austen novel, so kind of figured I would start here. As far as classics go, this is the most well-loved. I don't know if this will be the first Jane Austen book that I read. I'd kind of like to maybe read a different one, but this is definitely the one I would like to get to by the end of the year, just because it is so iconic, and you kind of can't say you've read Jane Austen and have not read Pride and Prejudice. Third category, poetry. I have Amanda Lovelace's series, The Princess Doesn't Save Herself, in this one. I've read this one and The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one, the second one. However, I would also like to read the third one, The Mermaid Doesn't Drown, in this one, I believe. This is a poetry collection dealing with a lot of sensitive and triggering topics involving rape and womanhood and depression and anxiety and pretty much any mental health thing that can trigger you is kind of discussed in this. We talk about homosexuality, we talk about relationships, and we talk about strength and abuse and motherhood and all of these different things. And I really love this series. For my next one, it is a horror novel, and that is It by Stephen King. I have this on audiobook and I hope to read it this year. I started to read it last year and it was kind of big and it was kind of in a iffy part of the holidays and everything, and I just needed to take a break. However, I would like to read a Stephen King novel. I feel like it's my, I have a lot of really weird and crazy ideas, and to have not read a Stephen King novel is just kind of a little bit baffling and absurd for me. Then, as far as my dystopian category goes, I would like to read Scythe by Neil Shusterman. My brother read this book. He actually borrowed this copy from me and loved it. I've heard a lot of rave reviews. I love just the idea of the fact that we could heal all sickness and then still, just to keep population down, hire scythes to go around and kill people randomly, and then have apprentice scythes, and if they don't do what you tell them to do, they'll kill your family automatically. And I just find this entire premise really interesting. I also have the sequel Thunderhead, and I'll look forward to the third one. Hopefully I can get to all 3 this year. Okay. Now, as far as young adult romance, I have 5 Feet Apart by a bunch of different authors. However, this is a movie that comes out in about 2 months, and I would like to read the book before I watch the movie. This is, I don't want to say it's going to be the next Fault in Our Stars. However, I have a feeling it's going to break my heart and be really sad. So for paranormal-ish, I kind of maybe a little bit this one, but for like paranormal fantasy sci-fi, I decided to choose The Diviners by Libba Bray. I have been looking forward to reading this book. A lot of people say that this book is creepy, in addition to having a lot of representation for mental health as well as LGBTQ Plus, and I am just super excited to get to this. I've also heard that the audiobook is super, super well done, so I'm thinking I might listen to this on audiobook and read it in physical copy. I found this physical copy for a really great deal as part of Black Friday, so I got it for like $2. So. Fantasy, official fantasy, I have the Inheritance trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. Yes, it's a huge bind up, so don't worry. It's like 3.5 books separated though, and I definitely want to get to the first one. Okay, I want to get to all 3. Let's just say that. But N.K. Jemisin has won the Hugo Award 3 years in a row. Everyone loves the fifth season series. The Broken Earth, I believe is what it's called, the Broken Earth trilogy, and I would like to start with her first trilogy first. I read the first page, borrowed it from a friend just to read the first page, and then decided I needed to buy my own copy. It was just really gripping, and I hope that I can get to this series. I am just super excited. This is a fantasy series that I will not mind getting into. I literally know nothing about it than the first page, and let's just say it's really good so far. Then, for literary fiction, we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is probably everyone's favorite book of 2018. I think it won some awards. It was so widely received. People said that they loved the audiobook, and I had to have the physical and audiobook, so I have both now. But we follow Evelyn Hugo, and she is a Hollywood actress who calls this woman up and is like, hey, I'll tell you my life story and all 7 husbands and everything like that if you come to my house. So that's all I need to know. So for my science fiction category, I have Firefly, Big Damn Hero. This is by James Lovegrave, but it's edited by Joss Whedon. So his editorial hand was in all of this business. I am just super excited for this. Oh my gosh, so this came out in November of 2018. The second one comes out in a couple months, so I want to get this and then get into this so that I can get into the second one right away. And then the third one will come out next November. So I am just super excited. Oh, and this fancy edition comes with a bookmark. I'm just saying, yes, I love Firefly. I want to get to this one. I want to get to the second one in March, and I'd pretty much like to get to the third one right away in November. We'll see how this goes. So the last category is historical fiction. I kind of have 2 in this category because they are both together, even though one is fantasy. So every Christmas for the last couple years, me and a friend will send each other a book. In 2017, we sent each other our favorite books that we had read that year. In 2018, so just like this last month, we kept up and did a theme, and I chose Let's Do Different Times, Different Places. He sent me a book from a different time, and we would read it together. And then I would send him a book that takes place in a different place, aka a fantasy novel, and we would read it together. So the historical fiction he picked out was The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. This novel, as far as I can tell, is about a monk, an architect, and a lady, and them saving the earth. And it's historical fiction. It takes place, I believe, in the UK. But it's really, really chunky, actually. It's a small book, but I'm super excited. He sent me the video game trailer and to get me hyped up for it, and it did it justice. I'm hyped. And with that, the fantasy novel that I sent him for the Different Times historical fiction and the Different Places fantasy was An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. I really want to get to this. It's the only, I know it's fantasy and I already have a fantasy up here, but I really want to get to this. It's a standalone fantasy, and I'm buddy reading it. So that's it for the books I'd like to get to in 2019. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a big thumbs up down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye!